Over 90% of YouTube channels never reach 1,000 subscribers, but even if you do reach that milestone, that doesn't necessarily mean your channel will take off. In this video, we're going to be discussing 6 reasons why everything changes after 1,000 subscribers and what to do if you are serious about growing on YouTube.
You gotta just press record.
Craig, let's talk about why so many people struggle to reach this first big milestone, 1,000 subscribers. What do you think?
Absolutely. What comes to mind first and foremost is that when people are just starting out their channel, there's sort of a lack of a clear target audience. Like, who are they making content for? They don't necessarily know the answer to that question. They don't even know what their niche is. And that was actually kind of me when I first started creating content. I was doing like gear tech reviews as well as editing tutorials and music video reactions. It was sort of like all over the place. And I didn't have clarity. And when viewers came to my channel about like, what does Craig make content about? It was all over the map. So I think that's the number one reason why people struggle in the first hundreds of subscribers that they're trying to build. They don't necessarily have clarity of expectations of what their channel is even going to be about.
I think you're totally right, having that clear target audience. But at the same time, I feel like most channels kind of start off messy. And in order to like reach that 1,000 subscribers, you do have to start getting clear on what videos you are making. You can't just throw random stuff out there anymore. But the good thing is for those watching who have reached 1,000 subscribers or even close to it, they're basically in that top 10% of channels that actually make it to 1,000 subscribers. So let's talk about tip number 1, and that's simply building the skill of YouTube, building the skill of making videos.
I mean, first of all, you got to celebrate. Like, you're making videos. If somebody hit 1,000 subscribers, they've made a handful of videos, maybe 10, 20, 30 videos before they hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. So you are building that skill of what it takes to be successful on YouTube. You're posting content regularly. You're also figuring out how to speak on camera. Speaking on camera is awkward. Like, Nate, you and I always talk about this. Like, it's a super awkward thing to talk to nobody. There's nobody around, whether you're using your phone or an actual camera. That camera lens is like such a weird looking, mysterious thing. So you're practicing all these skills of what it takes to be successful on YouTube. You're learning those rhythms of uploading consistently. Those were those small wins that I got to celebrate. I got videos posted. Sometimes nobody watched the videos, and then other videos would do a little bit better. And so I had to learn from those successes and modify my strategy at times. But even if your videos are not perfect to begin with, like, you're building up that muscle memory of being consistent and just hitting record, as our Think Media intro bumper always says, right? You just got to press record. And I think that's a really important thing to remember for anybody who has, got to that 1,000 subscriber mark. You've built a skill, man. Like, you're on your way to build a really substantial thing. You just got to keep going.
It's almost impossible to have a completely clear, coherent plan going into it. And so a lot of us just need to post videos and just start building that, oh, this is how I sound on camera, getting familiar with your voice, how to frame and compose a shot, even learning YouTube's titles and all that. Like, there's a lot to learn within that. But just by simply starting, you then get more data, and then you're more informed of what kind of videos you want to make. And so by this 1,000 subscriber point, I feel like a lot of people finally understand the videos they want to make and have a focus.
Dude, and that's a really good point, that like, you could have the best strategy coming into starting a YouTube channel in the world. And then once you start making content and getting it out there, you'll start to realize, like, man, videos that you thought were going to do really well don't perform well. And then ones that you took 20 minutes to create that didn't take a lot of thought, all of a sudden blow up. And it's really confusing. And we experience that here at Think Media. We'll spend hours on a video and it doesn't do as well as maybe like me just vlogging at Disneyland. That was like a really easy video to produce and it performed well. So you never really know. I'd say start messy, start before you're ready, and just get content recorded. And then you can start learning from that data. Post videos and start seeing what does well, what doesn't do well. And then you'll collect that data, we'll talk about that a little bit more in this episode.
But also, I think for people who finally reached this milestone, is they've had several people comment and they dealt with that negative feedback, the criticism, even like self-criticism, right? You might be going into it, your own self-doubts. I think that's huge going into it, because you think, oh, I'm just not entertaining enough, I'm not interesting enough. But by just making those videos, you kind of begin to shed some of that self-doubt, and then you have more confidence going even further.
Yeah, I totally agree, dude. And I would wager, I don't have a stat on this, I wish I did, but that like what's the average number of videos somebody has to post in order to get 1,000 subscribers? My guess would be it's in the 20 to 30 range. So you're showing up, those repetitions. I think there's a quote of like, something is the mother of mastery. What is it? I don't know what the quote is. I can't even remember. Repetition is the mother of mastery? I don't know what the quote is.
Okay, so now we've talked about building the skill. What's also important is once you reach 1,000 subscribers, is you unlock monetization potential. 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, depending on how much like watch hours you have. But let's just say you do unlock monetization. You're able to start making money off of what you're doing. And this can be absolutely huge if you are trying to create videos. Maybe this is a side hustle. Maybe you want this to be your full-time gig. Maybe it's not replacing your 9 to 5 just yet, but it is proof and evidence that it can be something. And I think that's what's most exciting to a lot of people.
Yeah. Question for you, Nate.
Yeah.
When you hit 1,000 subscribers, did you already meet that minimum watch time requirement? Or did you have a few months or weeks leading up to trying to get that watch hour requirement after you already hit 1,000 subs?
For me, my channel was so old that there wasn't that in place yet. So it's like I was already monetized, but yeah, I was still making just a few dollars, you know, here and there off of videos.
Yeah, for me, I actually hit 1,000 subs. I had one video pop off that got me like, oh, that single video got like 5 or 6, 7,000 hours of watch time. And it can happen very fast. And so I was like, oh, cool, I just hit 1,000. But my stats were like, I only have like 500 or 1,000 hours of watch time in the last year because I was very inconsistent. So I started to ramp up my consistency, and then I had one video take off, and that got me that watch time. So if you do hit that 1,000 mark and you're not there yet, just know that you're one video away from getting that watch hour time needed in order to reach that monetization.
I think also when you reach 1,000 subscribers, it kind of is like a sense of credibility. Having 1,000 people that truly love your content can really be huge. There's this idea that you only need 1,000 true fans. Having 1,000 quality followers, subscribers, you can really make a profitable business because they're willing to support you. They're willing to buy your products. So not only is it credibility within that aspect, but again, going back to like self-credibility, it's like, hey, I've done this thing. Maybe those friends and family that were kind of questioning, yeah, go do your channel. But now they actually say, hey, like he's made something.
And even beyond like, you know, your audience and family members and friends who will start viewing you as more credible, you know, you're credible even when you have a few hundred subscribers, or, you know, there's value in your content. And we encourage you, even if you're a really small channel, keep building. Even for like brands or other podcasts, collaboration opportunities, where these brands want to see like this creator is consistent. They're consistently getting views, even if it's a couple hundred of views per video. If they're growing an audience of 1,000 subs, 2,000 subs, there's a modest following that is interested in the content that they're producing. So don't sell yourself short. If you're a lower subscriber count channel, but you're hovering around 1,000 subscribers, you can start getting some brand deal opportunities that will garner some monetization for your channel. You can get some income. You can be featured on podcasts, collaborate with other channels. So lots of different ways that reaching that 1,000 subscriber mark can really benefit you.
I like that you brought that up because I think for my channel, I was probably around 800 to 1,000 subs when I got my first brand deal. It was essentially sending product. I got a free microphone, got to review it, test it out. To me, that was like a pivotal moment where it's like, oh snap, like I am doing this. Like I'm an influencer, right? I think that really put confidence in me to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. You're at 1K subs, you can still get paid. And it's a great way to start making money.
And that brings us to our next point, which is you begin to understand your own audience better. If you have 1,000 subscribers, that's actually an audience of people that follow you for certain reasons. And if you have a few dozen, even maybe 100 videos, you can go through your catalog and begin to see which videos are actually doing well. So I think that is important because now you have data to work with. It's just not an abstract theory or thought. You have actual data that you can use and say, hey, people really like when I talk about X, and you do a video about Y that doesn't get as many views. Well, that's good data that you should make more videos about X or related to that.
Yeah. One of the most powerful analytics you can see is what videos subscribers are coming from. What are your top 5 videos where your subscribers came from? There's demand for that content to be produced, so you want to increase the supply of those kinds of videos on your channel to meet that sort of demand. People want to see more. If they just subscribe to you, that's an indicator to you that they want to, not even necessarily that they loved the video that they just watched, but more like they want to see more videos like that from you in the future. So that's an important thing to remember.
How do you determine those videos that do well? Or do you like use any tools, or are you just using YouTube to kind of find that data?
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite tools to use has been vidIQ. So they've been actually a longtime sponsor of this channel. And vidIQ is a software that you can use, and it's also an extension that you can add to your YouTube channel. And vidIQ really just gives you like a way broader and deeper insight into what your audience is looking for. One of my favorite tools actually is this tool called the Outlier tool. And so what that is you can like search for different outliers on YouTube, things that just like have an exorbitantly high view count for maybe the size of the channel. And that gives you kind of insight as a creator of like, oh man, there's like demand for this content to be produced in these different niches. And you can capitalize on like these trends that are happening in culture or your area of expertise and make similar videos.
So definitely worth checking out vidIQ. If you want to get started, there's actually a link in the description down below. You can click that. Again, they've been sponsoring us for several different videos, and we use them to make our own content. So check that out in the link in the description down below.
So our next tip here is that when you hit 1,000 subscribers, something that you'll realize really quickly too is that the work is just beginning. And I know that might be a little bit discouraging if it's like, oh, I just crossed the line, Craig, to 1,000 subs. Like, I don't want to hear that it's just starting, right? What was kind of your experience, Nate, as you hit 1,000 subs? What was your mindset shift? Did you feel like I've arrived? I hit my 1,000 subscriber mark? Or were you like, oh man, there's work to be done now? What was your experience?
Yeah, I mean, as exciting as 1,000 subscribers were, I wanted my channel to grow more than that. So I remember like around that time dissecting more into what makes a good title, what makes a good video. And I focused a lot of my energy on that, just getting better at the craft of making videos and the different formats, which kind of reminds me of one of our students who joined our Tube 1K challenge. It's a free event that we do that helps guide you on how to make videos and how to get that first 1,000 subscribers. And from this challenge, she learned how to format her videos so they would actually perform much better. And not only that, she imposed a self deadline that she would post 30 videos within 30 days, but she was able to get monetization within 60 days up to now where she's up to 42,000 subscribers. And this kind of goes back to what we're discussing is she found her format. She found the videos she wanted to make and stuck to a format, and people rallied behind that. They joined, they understood what this channel was, and they were ready to subscribe. So I think that's just like super inspirational for me. If you want to take the same challenge to help Kayla grow her channel to 1,000 subscribers, just go to Tube 1K challenge or click the link in the description down below.
Okay, so our final tip for the day is tip number 6. Where do you go from here after you've hit 1,000 subscribers? What are your next steps? What do you do? Well, our highest encouragement to you would be to double down on what has been working and stay grounded in what has got you success. So there's a phrase we often say here, which is success leaves clues, make part twos. So all that really means is that any successful piece of content that you've had on your channel, whether it's a long form video or a short, if that video has been an outperformer for you, so maybe it's in your top 2 or 3 videos in terms of views and watch time, that successful piece of content for you is an indicator, it's a clue that there's demand for that kind of content to be produced. So success leaves clues. It's like if you had a good video, go ahead and make a part 2 to that series. Like what's better than one great video on your channel? Like a series of videos, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos that all relate to each other that can send somebody down like a binge-worthy experience of engaging with multiple videos in your content library rather than just one specific video. Nate, what has kind of been your experience as a creator? You were a solo creator before you were working even for Think Media. So what are some of the things that you've noticed on your personal channel with successful videos maybe leading to a spin-off or something different like that? What are your thoughts on it?
I think what's important to note is when you're making a video is what's going to actually get people to click. So for example, I did a video about a Canon old cinema camera that was like 10 years old. And I could have just labeled that Canon C100 review. And those videos might do well. And most videos you search that term would get around 20,000 views. But by focusing on what the viewers desire is, that this is a cheap camera that still holds up and still rocks and you can do a lot with it. My title was "This $500 cinema camera is insane." So just honing in your title in your thumbnail, or what we call the packaging, to kind of highlight a desire or a pain point that your viewer may have. I found those videos actually do a lot better. And then to your point about making a series, I've actually made follow-ups to different videos that have done well. One was called Filmmaking Advice. So I did a whole compilation on that. Did a sequel that actually did pretty good too. So if you have something that works, definitely double down and maybe put a new angle on it, and that will help attract not only those people who like those videos, but even grow your audience to a whole new group of people.
Yeah, this is a lot of good insights here, Nate. And I think one of the last things we could say about this is the idea of always choosing a channel topic or idea that you are passionate about.
Yeah.
So we often teach people the 3P framework. So the ideal YouTube channel for you is at the intersection of passion, proficiency, and profit. Passion, what you love talking about; proficiency, what you're actually good at talking about and what you're knowledgeable in; and then profit, what's the business model behind your content strategy. And some people don't really want to monetize their YouTube channel, but we always emphasize the passion piece, because passion is what's going to, protect your energy in the long term. It's going to make sure you're not burning out, and something you really want to talk about for 2, 3, 17 years down the road, potentially. Sean has been talking about YouTube strategy and tech and cameras for a really long time, and so have we. We're 10 years, into this, where we're creators, we're making lots of content, and we love cameras and tech. So we can talk about those things. It's out of the overflow of what we already love. And I think that's a really big encouragement that I would encourage anybody as you're starting to build your channel. Even if you're already at that 1,000 subscriber mark, you can make some pivots if you want to, and re-angle and reposition your channel to something that you have more passion in, before you go down the route of like, okay, maybe you're building something, you get 20, 30,000 subscribers, but then you're burnt out because you don't actually have the passion for it.
That's such a good tip. And looking back at my own journey, I wish I just had a proven guide that I could have followed. It would save me so much time. Having known the things that I know now would have been just huge. And so if you want to do the same, we definitely recommend starting with the Tube 1K challenge. We'll leave a link in the description down below. That will easily help you get your first 1,000 subscribers, give you a game plan so you can easily grow beyond 1,000 subscribers. If you want to check it out, there will be a link in the description down below. If you want to watch more content from us here at Think Media, then check out this video right here.